if not more. I am the DJ. It is Tuesday.
It's been more, bro.
Whew. Man, you gonna make me feel bad about it?
That's a good thing. I mean, we getting it in, man.
Right, man. You know, man, we building the market. You know, sometimes when you run an operation as vast and as comprehensive as the media entity that since 1974 radio is, when you have things such as That Dude clothing line, when you're working on other type of visual programming to add to the radio element, as well as, you know, hustling, making as much money as we can, because that is the name of the game. But it's not always about money. It's also about family too, sometimes, and that's why I got my special guest with me here right now. MC Kenny, what's poppin'? She's shy right now.
She's still using sign language.
Yeah, she said what's up, y'all. She said what's up, though. She loves the people. She loves to get the people what they want to. But like I said, man, it's Tuesday, June 14th. It's Flag Day. The Ohio weather has been a lot kinder to us than it was last year. It has been a much warmer spring, and as we roll in the summer, we got my homeboy from the murder mitten, the home of bitch ass niggas like Draymond Green.
Hold up, bro. Hold up, man.
I had to call him out, man.
We don't play that shit, bro.
I had to call him out, man.
We don't play that shit in the murder mid, man. We walk on 2 legs around there. We don't walk on 4 legs around there, man. That's how they get down in Akron, from what I hear, though.
Ooh.
Shouts out to Akron, Ohio.
In Northeast Ohio, the real dogs walk around on 3 legs. You feel me? Because we are part of that Mandingo tribe. And that's what happened, man. My nigga, hey, so much has happened over the last, allegedly over a month since I've been on, since Ty informs me.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
in the alleged.
Yo, is this thing gone? Yeah, it is.
In the time period since I've been back. So I'm going to try to touch on as much as I can in the time that I do have with everybody here today. But we have to start with what has now become the NBA Finals. I think last time I talked to you, I was giving my fucking first round predictions. And now here we are in the NBA Finals. And the Cavaliers are down 3-2. But I would have to say that if it has not swung in their position, the momentum is definitely even at this point. What do you think?
I would like to see Cleveland win the championship. I don't know if they can do it. I'm not even 50% sure they can do it. But I would like to see it happen. I would like to see them come back from 3-1 and win the championship.
I know that would be great.
Parade. You know, it'd be amazing. Simply not because I'm a Cavalier fan or I'm an NBA fan. And it would be a great, amazing story for them to come back 3-1. Everybody had done given up on them, and they pull it out to win their first, world championship.
Get that first world championship, man.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
Oh, okay. Well, back to my original question, though. If we could just focus on that for a second and kind of talk about this like civilized debaters. Would you say that the Cavaliers either have the momentum or that it's even, or would you say that the momentum is still with the Warriors?
I'm going to say that right now the Cavaliers have the momentum since the NBA threw them a bone the other day. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
and I understand why, because if we go back to last year, Golden State won the championship with, Cleveland being without a couple of the best players. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna say one of their best players because I don't count Kevin Love.
Well, we're gonna get on him in a second
as a player. Period. But they was without one of their players, so it was in due turn that they shorthanded the Golden State Warriors, and Cleveland showed out. Not only did they shorthanded them, but because they were shorthanded, they lost another one of their starters. which to me turned the tide in Game 5. Now they got to play. They might get Draymond back, but they missing 7.
And I mean, and you know, and you know who doesn't want to hear that?
That's why I just said what.
I know you did. I know you said it. I know.
That's why I gave you the whole lead.
Exactly. So it looks like that we're, you know, I'm not gonna count my my chickens before they hatch or anything like that. But it's kind of looking right now like we're headed towards an epic Game 7, man, which would be. I think that's the best scenario for everybody involved. Really think about it. Really think about it right now. I guess as a Warriors fan, you would probably say that you would prefer them to win the championship, you know, Thursday night versus risking it. You would like to see them win it at home, you know what I mean? But don't you think they would rather, like, if you were a ticket holder to Game 7, wouldn't you rather see them win Game 6 in Cleveland than have Cleveland win Game 6 and possibly, you know, you get to go to the game, but it could possibly be a loss? What do you think?
As a ticket holder, I would definitely want to see a Game 7 in our own building and winning on our championship.
Really?
But as a player, championships are always celebrated in the Cleveland Cavaliers visitors locker room, so why not celebrate another one there where, you know, the French champagne is still fresh from last year?
Well, what I'm very interested to see, because this went under the radar. I didn't hear. I only saw this like on Bleacher Report or something. I didn't see it on none of the ESPNs or even hear anybody talk about it on Facebook. But I guess after Game 4, minority Cleveland Cavaliers owner and slide dancing
I seen this
expert.
I think I shared this.
Usher Raymond, USHER.
Okay.
I guess he tried to get some love from LeBron. LeBron was upset, obviously, you know, after a loss. And he was just kind of like, you know, didn't give him the love that he was looking for right then. And I guess Usher went back to the Golden State Warriors locker room and was seen laughing it up, yucking it up with the Splash Brothers in them. What's up with that, Ush?
It wasn't like that. From the video that I saw, it wasn't like that. He was standing in the hallway, and Steph was coming back off the floor being, you know, victorious, where he had to give interviews to ESPN. So, you know, he was one of the last players off the floor. And Usher was standing in the back. And Steph showed love to Usher, and Usher showed love back to Steph Curry, as should have LeBron, being that this is a minority owner of your team, telling you when you just lost your home game at home, man, it's gonna be all right.
And you know what? I think that's where, and that's one of those things where LeBron, you know, LeBron's gonna do things that nobody else does.
LeBron, my dude, man, but he be acting. And I got to say this because I've said it before. I fuck with LeBron as a basketball player. I am definitely a fan of LeBron as a basketball player. But LeBron as a person, I don't fuck with him. He an asshole.
He has questionable values to you?
I think he's I'm gonna put it out there because I want y'all to say Ty said that shit. You heard it first here. You might not realize it till 10 years from now, but you heard it first here. I think he has very homosexual qualities.
Oh, man. Come on. That's what you running with?
I mean, that's his personal life.
That's your take right now?
That's none of our business.
That's your take right now?
That's none of our business. But Draymond called him a bitch. You need to stop acting like a little bitch for a reason. Because he do act like a little bitch. And motherfuckers that's in that little circle, that's in the NBA circle, they know this. Man, this dude is... he been on the road with a coach that ain't his dad, around a bunch of dudes since a very young age. Nothing but dudes. Man,
I cannot believe what I'm hearing right now.
Yeah, I know it. I always, you ain't the first person I get this response from. But when he write that autobiography and come out the closet, I'm going to guarantee you going to call me and say, damn, Ty, I ain't believe that shit. It won't be the first time. Man, it won't be the first time motherfucker call and be like, man, I didn't believe that shit. But you was right.
I was totally unprepared for that. I knew we was gonna talk about a lot of different things today, and I knew that you was gonna have some takes that were not going to be
man.
Cavalier friendly. But
nope, that's my dude.
That's an original take,
I'm
bro.
a LeBron fan, but personally, him as a person, not the basketball player, him as a person, I have some questions. Like, I would like to sit down and ask him some personal questions. Like, bro, what did dude mean in the movie? The thug that was in the movie. You remember that little documentary that they made?
I never watched it.
Well, you should, and you would change your mind about what I just said. Because the thug said when he joined the team, they was already like a little clique of bandit boys that used to play touchy-feely all the time, and they used to want him to be in the clique. And he told them, "Fuck y'all, man. I ain't hanging with you little girls." This was when he was coming up in Akron playing basketball on the AAU, traveling the AAU circuit. They used to be on the buses and in the van, going to different cities and states playing basketball, blah, 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 blah. You know, like I say, you on the road in hotels with these little boys every night. And this thug, I ain't fucking with y'all. I see what you little touchy-friendly man. I ain't a part of that circle. It's gonna come out, bro.
Well,
hey, Brian, I hate to bust your bubble and put that out there, NBA Finals, but y'all seen the Progressive commercial?
Well then. Okay, so if we could just look at this from a basketball perspective one more time before we move on. Man, I think this has been a very interesting series so far. It's been a major contrast in styles and ideologies in NBA, to where typically in the past, you've had, star players that are surrounded by specialists, guys who are good at a certain thing. You look at, Jordan's team, where certainly, I don't want to discredit anybody as not being a guy that could play offense and defense, but when you look at, those teams that's constructed, you had him and Scottie, who are very versatile. Then you had, Dennis Rodman, who was the straight-up rebounder dude. You had Tony Kukoc, who was a scorer, a great guy to bring off the bench, provide some extra offense. You had Steve Kerr, who was your spot-up shooter, backup point guard type guy. And, you had these guys that was in these roles, and that's been, how the NBA has run. But you see in the Warriors, which I think the first team to kind of do this a couple years ago was the Detroit Pistons, to where they just had a bunch of guys that could do a little bit of everything. A team, a real team that was going to get out there and play as a team and not just rely on one guy or two guys. But I mean, there's only one ball, so
I think I see where you're going. This is where in my conversation the other day, I was trying to make a comparison between the Cavaliers and Golden State, and I said that the Cavaliers, like you just said, they have two good players that's good at home or on the road.
Right.
Everybody else is just kind of, if he passed me the ball, I don't know if I'm gonna make it, because I'm so caught in awe. I've been standing around watching them for so long that whereas,
and I mean,
I don't know if the superstars on that Cleveland team trust the others. Whereas that Golden State team, everybody trusts that everybody can do what they supposed to do. You know what I'm saying, on that team. That's why they didn't have no problem when Draymond got suspended, saying, look, we finna go out and win this tonight. It wasn't no lack of confidence because Draymond wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, was playing a very decent game. That was a good game right up until Bogut went down and the middle opened up. When the middle opened up, Kyrie and LeBron had a field day. There was nobody in the middle to deter them. Like, and when you don't have that, then you're going to get 41 from them two guys, because, hey, if you can't stop them from going to the hole, you're going to leave that jumper wide open.
Right, and that's just how it's
so,
going to be.
So it's a trust thing, and I don't think that LeBron and Kyrie trust everybody on that squad. Like J.R. Smith, 20 points game 3 that they won, and then 10 points first half game 4, and then no points.
Then didn't even take a shot.
You know what I'm saying? And then, 10 points game, yesterday, and then didn't touch the ball again. You know what I'm saying? That come from a trust from your leadership. Like, I don't trust you. This is do or die, and I don't trust you to give you the ball. It's on me.
Right.
We got to do this. Whereas that Golden State team is like, last night was an elimination game for them, and they trusted a lot of players. McAdoo played.
Yeah.
A motherfucker that ain't played, Rush played. He ain't played since Klay Thompson was injured earlier. You know what I'm saying? That's a trust thing. Like, we trust to put you in the game that you're going to fulfill your obligation to the team. And I don't think that Cleveland had that. And I don't think, and me and you talked about this before the game yesterday, LeBron has no jumper. But when it's going, it's going. But it's kind of like the J.R. Smith thing. It ain't consistent.
And the difference is, though, is that LeBron has that green light to test it. You know what I mean? And he has more of a leash to get it going. JR is like, if he don't make the first one,
the first couple, we're gonna give him
he gonna get about 3 shots, and if he don't drop one of them, he might not take another one.
But I told you a couple of weeks, man, that Kyrie Irving, and I'm a LeBron fan. I'm not trying to take nothing from LeBron, but Kyrie Irving is the best player on that team. I'm not talking career-wise or anything like that. I'm talking right now. Kyrie Irving is the best player on that team.
I think he's the best offensive player, but I don't think that you can take away. Like, you just got to look at LeBron's stat line last night. You know, he led them. I think he led the game. He was the sole leader or shared leader in points, rebounds, steals, assists, and blocks. Not just for his team, but for the entire game. And that's why I don't think that I'm quite ready to make that statement, because Kyrie does not have the same defensive impact as LeBron James does.
With all that LeBron did last night, without that fun from Kyrie,
everybody keeps saying that. Everybody keeps saying that.
Because Kyrie's was timely.
He was great. He was great. But let's not act like he can't score 21 and we can't get those 21 points from Love, who had maybe 5 points. I think he had like 3 points.
Yeah, 2.
2 points. Yeah, 2 points. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 2 points, y'all. If he had 2 points, he paid him $100 million.
Kyrie took 30-something shots. You know what I mean? So if you distribute those shots around, there are guys on the Cavaliers who can get you buckets if you trust them.
No, I was going to say, that go back to what we was just saying.
Yeah.
Because they didn't trust Kevin Love.
You didn't.
They didn't trust J.R. Smith.
And
they didn't trust, what's the dude with the
Shumpert, man. He is tripping,
Shumpert
man.
With the hair. What the hell is that?
I promise you.
Let me show y'all what I did. I said with the hair.
I know.
With the hair.
I don't know how good the camera is catching it today, but y'all might have noticed that I have a little bit different of a hairstyle than you've probably previously seen me with. I'm getting my twist game back going on.
Uh-oh.
If you didn't know, in my generation, I was like around here where I be at. I was the only nigga rocking the twist in 2001, 2002, 2003, and 2004. There wasn't no nigga that was even thinking about having his hair like this shit. Now you see every nigga walking around with his hair in some type of twisted up, locked up type fashion. So, you know, just like with everything else that I do, I'm ahead of my time. You know, I got an old soul.
I'm gonna have to say around here. Because, you know,
yeah, that's why I said that, man. That's the only place I've been, man.
Back in '89 or something like that, and I think I was rocking the twist with the high top fade back in like '92, '93. So, where you had the little spritz and you put the little gel on your shit, tighten your shit up. Went to school looking like a goddamn Hellraiser.
Nigga, you wasn't going to school, nigga. Don't
make me go. What? I wasn't going to school.
You know you wasn't at school, nigga.
You were talking to a dean list student every day, every year that he was involved in school.
Shout out to you for that, for making it to the dean's list. And still
would have been on the president's list if I ain't have a hating ass teacher one year.
And still somehow found time to terrorize the streets of Flint, Michigan.
Ain't nothing wrong with being smart, man. Shit. Hey, look. To survive in the cold-hearted streets of Flint, Michigan, if your ass wasn't smart, you ended up in jail or dead. I'm still here.
Right. So that does tell me something, man. That does tell me something.
still here.
He said, I was smart enough to get up out of there.
I was smart enough not to get caught.
Well, you can't be slobbering on your daddy.
Man, I got so much to talk about.
Hey, man, we got to talk about Orlando.
That's definitely on my list. So let's get into that. I mean, ever since we have been doing the I Am the DJ show, I think that something like if I had to pick one thing that we've talked about the most, it's been violence. You know, like one of the first shows I did, we started talking about that as something that, you know, when we bring in the guests, whether it's a rapper or whether it's a artist or somebody from the community, you know, we're always talking about the violence because it manifests itself in so many different ways. And over the weekend, I'm still, honestly, I'm not sure of the specifics of the situation because I'm so unfortunately and uncomfortably numb to these shootings, man, because the first one that sticks in my head was Columbine. And because I was in middle school, you know what I mean? I was on the other side of the country, but it hit real close to home because we had, you know, after that happened, we started to have little hit lists, you know, little weird boys that everybody was fucking with started to come up with these little hit lists, and it was a reality that, you know, I had to start contemplating.
Right. It's just crazy that our president, a black president, who, you know, we all proud of,
Half black,
might not even really, you know, agree with everything that he did in this past 8 years. It's just crazy that he has had to deal with 15 mass shootings of different kinds in 8 years. He's had to come to the podium 8 different times and say, we had another violent incident involving guns where more than 10 people were killed and 40 people injured. We'd have had theaters, churches, schools, nightclubs. I mean, it's just like evil is real. I don't think this has, I mean, I know, you know, we supposedly are at a war against terror or whatever. You know, the Muslims are behind everything, you know, but it's just crazy that a person could wake up one day, and I know I have a deranged mind, and I might have thought some shit sometimes, like, but to actually wake up and just be like, you know what, I'm going out today, and do some shit like my man did, kill 50 people, or the motherfucker at the church, like you walk up in a church and kill, you know what I'm saying, or you go to a movie theater and, you know what I'm saying?
Do you believe that any of these events, and if so, how many of them would you say have been orchestrated by an unknown entity that is not the actual shooter? So basically, and how many
somebody was behind?
Like a group. Like I do not believe under any stretch of the imagination that little scrawny ass white boy, Dylan Roof, okay, put that all together by himself. I don't believe it. The people that were there, the influential people that were there, like there wasn't just like anybody in that bitch, you know what I mean?
Right.
There was like real life stakeholders in the civil rights community in South Carolina that was in that church when that happened.
When you at war, innocent casualties are a part of war. You know, that's just like we'd have had a couple of airplanes disappear. And there might have been 243 people on that airplane. But it might have been one motherfucker that was on that airplane that was an important enough motherfucker
to take
that
out
all 242 came up missing. You know what I'm saying? So that's always a very real possibility in the day and time that we live in, because you got shit like secret societies and you know what I'm saying? And to protect your secret, what levels would you go to protect your secret?
And I think that's very important to consider when you're looking at these situations and trying to make sense of them. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you go out and it's hard to feel safe. Like, man, like anybody could just be out here randomly wanting to start some shit today and to shoot everybody up. Like this could be something that actually happens to me. But I think that it is more controlled. and these
Both of them
are
mine?
targeted, huh?
Both of them mine?
Yeah, and these are targeted events that are happening. Not to say that we're any less susceptible to it, but it's just, you know, it's something that's really out of your control, man.
It's the whole. I think by what you was just saying about, is it somebody or some organization or some group behind some of the things that go on. You say that because of the whole fear thing. And I was talking about this the other day with somebody when I was saying we live in America, and the premises of America is you're free. You're free here in America. You're free to do whatever you're freedom. So in other words, that's saying that I'm free to go get in the airplane, hijack that motherfucker, crashing into the building.
Oh yeah,
I'm free. I mean, I ain't saying there ain't no consequences or repercussions from doing it, but I'm a free man, and I can go buy a gun and go into a nightclub and shoot up and kill 50 motherfuckers. You know, I'm free to do that. Ain't no consequences or repercussions, but I'm free to do that. You know what I'm saying? And this whole little fear thing behind it, whereas, okay, if they won't let go of their freedom, let's show them the effects of their freedom. And hoping, I heard a motherfucker say the other day, the only way we gonna stop some of this homegrown terrorism and folks being associated with ISIS and all that was, you're gonna have to give up some of your privacy. We have to get back to Patriot. We have to get back to the Patriot Act, and you have to give up some of your privacy in order for us to stop some of these things. Huh? Man, let these things keep happening. I ain't scared. We all gotta go.
You know what?
You gotta go. You gotta go.
I think that if you really think about this, I think what this turns into, in my mind, if I see like the progression of this, of where this is going, okay, I see like, you know, people used to live in the inner cities, and then the conditions in the inner city got unfavorable, so people started moving out to the suburbs, okay, to get out of the reach of the unfavorable things that are going on to the city. Mm-hmm. So now you're seeing these things happen, and it's happening not just in the inner city like Chicago type stuff, but you're seeing, you know, people getting shot up in movie theaters and nightclubs and things that are in, you know, prominent areas and neighborhoods and everything like that. So I think you're going to see people like shift even more into seclusion, you know what I mean? Like into not fucking with people, and to leaving these big public settings and stuff like that to people that want to risk their life.
I've been doing a lot of traveling lately, and I was conversating with a friend of mine in Kansas City, and she said that she stayed way out in the suburbs. And you know, I'm like, oh, that's dope. You stay out way out in the suburbs. And she like, not really, because around here, the suburbs is really the ghetto. You know what I'm saying? She like, all the rich white folks, influential people are trying to move back into the city. So they're moving into the city, and they're renovating stuff, they're fixing it up, and the urban people that's living in the city now are moving to the suburbs. And it's like, okay, what she was saying was the rich people that moved out to the suburbs and bought houses, now they're renting them to the urban people that lived in the ghetto,
that are
and they're moving
that are thinking that they moving up to where those people are,
right?
But they really already done moving out.
They moving back to the ghetto. Yeah. They moving back to the hood, fixing it up. And when she told me that, I thought about Flint. Like, that's exactly what's going on in Flint. They're moving all the motherfuckers out of Flint, and they gonna fix it up.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna be one of them influential communities where it costs you $300,000 to live in Flint, to get a house in Flint.
That is called gentrification.
Gentrification, and it's just crazy. Like that's the world we live in is nuts like that. Like,
I mean, you know, I think there's just so many crazy things that go on in the world, and everything that we're talking about right now, it means a lot more to me than it did 5 months ago now, because like I have to explain all of this to her. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still trying to figure it out myself. You know, I don't have the answers right now. We sitting here, we talking it out. But I think knowing that there really are no answers is a very important part of it. And you just have to decide what's important to you. Okay? So as we're having this conversation, people are saying, oh, we need to make the Patriot Act stronger and give up more of our privacies. To me, I don't want any part of that.
Okay, but see, that's some Republicans saying that, and that's just like something else the Republicans say. Well, if we had more guns, we'll have less mass shootings. If because most of these, like we said, churches, movie theaters, nightclubs, these are all soft targets. These are all places that when you get to the front door, it say no firearms. You know what I'm saying? Even if you got a concealed weapon permit, when you get to that front door, it tell you you can't bring your firearm in here.
Absolutely.
But okay, now if you had, and this is something I said when that story first broke the other day about him going to a gay nightclub. I said he picked the right nightclub. He went to a gay nightclub where he knew they was in there, not to be stereotyping the gay people or anything, but they was in there happy, having a good time. You know what I'm saying? When they in them clubs, they don't be thinking about I'm finna whoop this bitch ass or I got my gun in the car. You know what I'm saying? If he would have went to the right nightclub, I can guarantee you it would have been 5 or 6 guns, not just security, in that club. And you walk up in here shooting, yeah, you might kill 6 or 7 people, but you ain't gonna make it to 50 if it's other guns in the building. You feel me? That's just the realization of the situation. If I got a gun and you're shooting, and I'm shooting back, somebody gonna hit your ass. Somebody gonna end that before we get to those high of numbers. You know what I'm saying?
But it's like, but then it's just like, okay, so let's say that there's a club in Orlando. Let's say that it's a heterosexual club. We don't want to imply anything here, okay? So we're gonna be there, and it's a club that has decided to prevent the possibility of mass shootings. They're going to allow you to bring your gun in. You going to that club?
I'm going to say this. I used to work at the Titty Bar. I used to be a manager at the Titty Bar. I was head of security at the Titty Bar.
Absolutely.
I was at the front door patting motherfuckers down. And there were certain motherfuckers I'd be like, no, you got to take that back to the car. And then there was some motherfuckers that I'd be like, my dog, come on. Because I know if it pop off, I know he ain't in here on no foolishness where he just gonna get mad at nobody and whip his thing out and get to smacking her or some shit, or you can tell the different motherfuckers. Like, and it's been situations that popped off while we was in there where I was glad I had left a couple of them cats in there with their things, because this dude just walked in and because I told him no, he want to whip his thing out.
Right.
When he whipped his thing out, I whipped my thing out, and 6 motherfuckers that I had done left in whipped their thing out. Like, he was like, oh, my bad. You know what I'm saying? Because we was at the Titty Bar, that could have turned into a mass shooting just because he was mad. But because he whipped out his one and had 7 pointed back at him, like, nigga, you ain't the only one. What you think, I sold them all because I stayed with all?
Man, guns are very serious, man. And you're either on team gun or you're on team no guns. I guess I gotta be on team guns.
It's freedom. It's one of our freedoms, man.
Because I'd rather, in a gunfight, I'd rather have a gun than not have one, man.
Exactly.
And we're headed towards.
In other words, you'd rather be judged by 12 and carried by 6.
Man, I'd rather be alive eating pineapple and grapefruit on a beach somewhere.
I must say that because it was a time when your boy used to have to carry his gun to church with him. Everywhere I went, I had my pistol with me, and I ain't been that way. I ain't had to. Right. I ain't had to have my. Even though I got my thing right here. I don't have to walk around with it. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to walk around. It's always in reach, but it was always in my coat pocket, back pocket. You know what I'm saying? And
it was accessible.
I had to have it. And now I don't live like that. So, but I do keep it close.
Well, I ain't mad at you. Man, a few more quick hits before we get out of here. I got to pay respects. There's a lot of people that passed since the last time that I done been on here. First, it was Prince. I don't think that I've been on since Prince passed away. R.I.P. to Prince. And then most recently, we had the greatest of all time. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. The prettiest. Louisville Lip. His mama named him Clay. I'ma call him K. Clay. Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali, Rest in peace, man. 1942 to 2016. Man, he touched a lot of people's lives.
Man, I heard so many people say the same way I feel. Like, outside of my dad and a couple of men in my life, that was my hero. That was like my inspiration. Like, I mean, I didn't know him personally,
Right.
but Muhammad was somebody. He was your role model. He was somebody you could look up to. We all wanted to be boxers and float like a butterfly and sting like a bee because of Muhammad Ali. We all wanted to cut our light off and be in the bed full of light. When, you know what I'm saying? That was, you know, he was a truly inspirational dude, man, for real. And even though I lived through the latter part of his boxing career, I'm still learning so much about him even after death. This is just like, wow, man, this
Right.
dude was truly an inspirational.
I think that you know, between you, we're about 10 years apart. But I think that in the times when we grew up, there's a crucial difference in how it was viewed to be like black in America. Cause like when I was growing up, Muhammad Ali was kind of just like this past like mythical like figure, because the things that he stood for, it's like we're still fighting these battles now, but this was at like a time when like blackness was taking over. When I was growing up, early 90s, you know what I mean, like little boy type growing up type shit, like everything I'm seeing on TV is black, is raw, you know what I'm saying? I'm seeing Will Smith, I'm seeing even the white people is trying to dress like, you know, New Kids on the Block, trying to be like New Edition, you know what I'm saying? Like everything that's being emulated. So it was like what he was saying, Muhammad Ali, had come to fruition by the time I was growing up, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, he was by that time, he was just more like this like elderly statesman,
Right.
you know what I mean? And then he started to have the physical problems and deteriorate.
So you didn't really get the experience.
No,
You didn't get the experience of Muhammad Ali.
no, I did not. I did not. He
He was a truly inspirational player, dude. I mean, like, it's a lot of motherfuckers on Page Street and Key Street got their ass whooped because of Muhammad Ali. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm Muhammad Ali. No, I'm Muhammad Ali. No, well, we gonna fight to see who Muhammad Ali.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, not to say that that's what he was about, because, like I say, listening to the stories at his memorial and all that stuff, man, he was just a loving dude. You know what I'm saying? Even though he was a showman, and not everybody liked him because of his showmanship when the cameras was on or the mic was in front of his face, he was a loving dude. And that is what most Muslims are. They're loving people, bro.
Yeah.
But they getting a bad rap right now because of a few assholes. And it's just like us black people or niggas. You know what I'm saying? We are loving people. You know what I'm saying? But you got a couple of us out here that just don't give a fuck. And everybody take the rap for that shit. You know what I'm saying? We all get blamed for those couple of bad apples that, you know, leave stain on people's lives. But Muhammad, he said it. He was the greatest. He knew it. He was the greatest.
Yeah. He was in more ways than one.
Yep.
So definitely shout out to him. He leaves behind, I think, one of the greatest legacies that could be had. And just because one of the things that I like to do with my voice is shame Michael Jordan whenever I have the opportunity to, I'm gonna take this as another opportunity to just draw attention to this contrast in between Muhammad Ali and Michael Jordan, you know. And I just feel like Ali understood what he could do with his power, and he decided to speak for people that had no voice. That's what he decided to do. And Michael Jordan decided to make $1 zillion. I mean, which he has the right to, but as Desmond J. Carter, I respect what Ali has accomplished more.
I think it was two different times. Like you said earlier,
Yep.
you know, when you were coming up in the early 90s was about the time Michael Jordan was doing
Yep.
his thing.
Yep.
And it was a totally different time
You're right.
than when Muhammad was coming up. We were just able to sit anywhere we wanted on the bus.
Right.
By the time
You're right.
Muhammad Ali. So I mean, you know, for him to speak out, and I go for a lot of the athletes today, like LeBron, they don't really stand up to social issues the way Jim Brown and Muhammad Ali and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did. You're not gonna hear LeBron say, "I'm changing my name because of my beliefs." When was the last time you heard that? Last time you heard that
and
in the professional sports was when Chris Jackson changed his name to Abdul-Rauf.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about that is that LeBron and Kobe and all these guys are able to have the type of lives that they had because those guys that came before them did that, because of what Jackie Robinson went through, because of Muhammad Ali and Frank Robinson.
Social change back in the day was about freeing the black man. Well, not even freeing the black man, but being equal for the black man. Social change today is about being, I hate to just throw this out here again, but gay, homosexual,
everything. Yeah.
I mean, you know, I guess this time period of where we at in life and in the world it's their fight right now.
I'm gonna tell people real quick story, and I'm gonna tell people about this now. Anytime anybody tells me about racism and it doesn't exist or anything like that, you know, I have a perfect example to explain to them what racism is in 2016 through the eyes of myself, okay? I have a shop. I have a store where people will come. They will look at the outside. They will look at the things in my window. They'll even make it into the store sometimes and start to look at things in the store. And then when they see who owns the store, they are no longer interested.
No longer interested. It's crazy, right?
In being a customer. Now, you can say to me that it is not because I am an African-American man. You could tell me that, but that doesn't mean anything to me because I live this. This is my life, you know what I mean? So when I run the analysis of all these situations and times when this has happened to me, you know, it computes out as the common factor, Negro.
Right. It's crazy.
So
and in the day and age we live in, I mean, with all this, because it's a.
But that's racism today.
Like Snoop Dogg said the other day, I don't want to fucking watch no Roots. Why y'all go remake some shit that was already out here? Why not focus on the success of black people today?
Now, you know, there's
like,
definitely
okay,
there's
how many of those success stories do we have? We have a lot of black people out here trying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But a lot of them fail because we don't support each other.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if we don't support each other, how do we expect the white people to support us?
And you know what? That is one of the craziest things, man. Because people, I think we need to really, as parents, demonstrate to our children the importance of supporting our own more. You know what I mean? Like, and sometimes it doesn't have to be, you can make it not just a racial thing. Because like with my baby, she's biracial. You know what I mean? So she's gonna have white family, she's gonna have black family. You know, so when I say supporting your own, you know, what we really talking about is Lorraine, you know, our neighborhood. We talking about our hip hop community. You know, we talking about, you know, whoever you are, your church members. But just if somebody has something going on that is related to you, you know, you should support it, because that's how you build a network. And the strongest network going right now in America is the white man's network. And all you got to do to get interest into that network is to be white, and you win.
I was over at you know me, I like putting names on shit. I was over at Fifth Third Bank yesterday.
Fifth Third,
and you know, I went on. They taught me into opening an account. The dude that opened the account say he done been. He say he's been in Wilkins Santiago's corner a few times.
Oh, that's Josue. That's my dude.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I said he mentioned you. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know, I do little interrail stays down there. He like, oh, you the spot where Daz do his thing. I'm like, yeah, you know, yeah, that's my man. That's my man. And it was like, yeah, I checked y'all out, you know, once or twice. And I was thinking to myself, like, you watched the Wilk show. You ain't checked us out no once or twice. You watched the Wilk show. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But in all reality, support us, bro, because, you know, as I'm sitting there talking to him, I'm like, bro, you know, we know everybody. Everybody you know. And that's always crazy to me. I guess that's because of the line of work I'm in. I'm not from here. And it was crazy for me to sit there and talk to a person and be like, yeah, that's my man's. Oh, yeah. You got to talk about Stipe. And I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm doing his wedding Saturday.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He like, oh, yeah, man, you know, I would love to be a part of Strong Style. I'm like, oh, yeah, I know everybody in Strong Style. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, see, bro, we got to support each other because we all one, really. We all are connected in some form or matter. And I think
that's what I'd love to get back to that. And it's probably coming up on a year now since I've had this idea of creating, you know, some type of group to where the sole purpose of the group is to do nothing but share information. And hopefully I can make that happen in the next upcoming months, because I think that it would be very pivotal for our communities, because right now what we are, especially here in Lorain, man, you have a whole bunch of fingers in Lorain. You got a bunch of fingers, man. You got some thumbs, you got some pinkies, you got some middle fingers, you got some ring fingers, you got all these fingers, you know what I mean? But
my middle finger got arthritis in it right now, so if I give you the fuck you finger, it's not because I'm giving you the fuck you fingers because it's stuck like that.
you know, Lifestyle Studio is a finger. You know what I mean? All these things are fingers, but we need to come together and make a fist and a hand so we can actually start moving shit and picking shit up and crushing shit and making moves. You know what I mean? So we gotta connect these dots. We gonna make this happen. A couple more shout outs.
Hey man, you trying to get out of here, but you still got like 19 more minutes. Shouts out to What's Real Entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And Party on the River Festival that's coming up.
Yep.
I'm not gonna say what's going on because I expect them to come on the show here soon and you know, give us the 411 on what's going on with that. But shouts out to them.
Yeah, man. July 24th, Black River Land in Lorain, Ohio. I'm looking very forward to it. I'm actually, you know, I was planning on doing a big after party after the Rover Fest, which I still will probably do, because I think it's going to be two different crowds. I know it's going to be two different crowds because Rover Fest is a specific crowd. Rover Fest is 95% white people. Not going to lie to you. I was there last year and I felt very uncomfortable, man. And I love white people, man. I love white people. I love white people so much, I had a baby with one. But there's a different type of feeling when you're in your own backyard. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of this feeling like, man, I don't really feel like anybody's fucking with me here right now. That might have just been me in my head, but...
Man, I feel the same way, bro. Like, I mean, you know what I offer to the community.
Yeah.
And I just feel like we not being utilized by the community as we should. And I don't know if it's a lack of my part of getting out, letting the community know that we're here, or if it's just they not rocking with us because, you know, for whatever reasons, they feel they can do what we do or whatever it is. I just don't feel the support. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know what? We gotta take it to another level, and we gotta go out and we just gotta show people the love and give them no. We gotta step the love up to a next level and put them in a situation where they can't do anything but say, you know what? Since 1974 radio.
I'm saying that to say this, like, with the whole that dude thing,
right?
I've been selling a lot of shirts, and I don't know these people that's buying these shirts.
Because the people that support you,
I don't know them.
Be people that you don't even know.
I don't know the people that's supporting me right now, bro. And that's kind of like heartbreaking. How am I supposed to look my family and friends in the face and be like, oh, nigga, you ain't showed no love. Where your since 1974 shirt? Where your that dude shirt at? You know what I'm saying?
And
Like,
and again, it just goes back to we have to instill that into the kids. So it's
gotta support.
you
your
don't
own.
even think about it. It's like brushing your teeth and washing your ass. You just do it because you've been doing it your whole life. It's just something that you do, and it's not something that has to be taught. And again, I'm not saying go fuck with businesses just because they in your neighborhood, and keep going back to them. I'm saying
you
go
not
try them out.
Yeah, I mean, because if you, okay, stop buying hair from the Chinese people because they're not investing that money with your peoples. They taking that money back to their peoples. You know what I'm saying? Go buy some. You get that same hair from the black people.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I need black people to open up a hair store. I need that. I need that to happen. I need
But you know why? I mean, it happens, Des. But you know why you don't see them last? Because motherfuckers keep running to the Chinese people.
they must be doing it better.
They must be offering a cheaper price, and you don't want to pay that extra 50 cents to go to that black guy
Well,
store.
I tell you what they need to do, because I know that there are places in this country with black-owned hair stores.
If it's
And-
all right, what I'm saying is, if you got a black-owned hair store, say in the plaza right there behind us,
Yeah.
you got a black-owned hair store, and you got a Chinese-owned or Japanese or Korean-owned hair store sitting right next door to each other.
People gonna go to where the prices is right.
The Korean person might be able to offer you that same hair for $1 cheaper,
Yep, and that's where people gonna
and
go.
and that's where you gonna go. But goddamn, President Obama ran for president, and you ain't think about none of his policies, none of that
Nothing.
shit, just because
He
he
was
was black. You ain't never voted for in your life. You ain't fit to vote this time. You didn't vote the times before this. But just because this nigga was running, you ran out there and voted.
Why can't we take that same mentality when it's time to go get something to eat?
I mean,
I'm
I'm not saying don't support the Chinese people, but I mean at the same time, you gotta show support to your own. Like,
Yeah. For
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you might get ghetto service when you go fuck with ghetto people. When you go fuck with your own, you might, but you got to embrace that. You know what I'm saying? You got to know, you have to expect that. Don't be, walking into a black establishment and expecting to hear Cars 1079 or you know what I'm saying? Expect to walk in there and hear Tupac or Biggie. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what I'm gonna say too, man, and we can talk about this till we turn blue in the face. But black people, as we currently exist in America, have existed for 150 years. Okay, we are a blip on the evolutionary process of the world of civilization. Okay,
and we some of the biggest races on the damn planet.
But
We
what
always
I'm
point the
saying
finger, but we
is,
some of the biggest
what I'm
races on the
saying
planet.
is, what it means to be black is still being defined. Okay, there is no concrete.
That
but there,
is fucking sad, bro. Especially since we're the original people. How
but
are we
see,
still
but
trying to
wait though,
define
but wait though,
something that was here
we're
first?
we're not though. We are not.
Who are?
We are a hybrid combination of African slaves mixed with Indians, Europeans, and all types of other shit.
Des, you ain't mixed with nothing. Got him. Now me on the other hand, I might be mixed with a few things, but Des,
But
goddamn it,
see,
you are African.
I mean, if you ran the trace on me, it probably would come up, like 99.9% sub-Saharan. But in all seriousness, like my dad is light skinned. Right. You know what I mean? My grandma's mother is like a quarter Cherokee, and she is she was R.I.P. Grandma Jessie May, lived to be 101, 102 years old. She was very fair skinned, and there was no fair skins that came over on the Amistad. If you have somebody light skinned on your family, it's because there are some other things in there. There's some European, and more so what I'm talking about, more than just our DNA makeup. I'm talking about the culture in which we've come up together, okay? Mm-hmm. And we've been free for 150 years, and during that time.
So in that 150 years, do you let go of your traditional heritage and embrace what you are.
But I don't know if we had our traditional heritage was slavery. Fuck that.
Nah.
That was our traditional heritage because
hell no. Our heritage go way before that, bro.
But the people that survived slavery were so disconnected from their African ancestors that they had to start over.
But if you just go, nah, because the history is still there. The history of who you are is still there. But if you only choose to go back to slavery, then I don't
think so, man. I think if you were say you were you, okay, Tymeeka's house, 40 years old, whatever, okay, at the end of the Civil War, and they telling you you're a free man, you got this whole country to go visit, they love you, or they really don't love you nowhere, they don't love you in the north, they don't love you in the south, you got to go out and get yours. The last thing that you thinking about is what the fuck was going on in Africa before you got there. And you had to make a way.
You're not going to be successful at making that way if you don't. You're not going to understand where you're going if you don't know where you came from.
I do understand that to a certain extent, but what I'm saying is that it's really not debatable. The majority, the overwhelming majority of black people in this country, they had no connection to their African history.
That's because they chose. But
I'm just saying, regardless,
the connection is there.
Regardless of if they chose to or not, it wasn't there. Like when you grow,
it has always been there. Your story has always been there. You might have had to put in a little work to find out what that story was, but that's what you got to do.
But I'm talking about cultures. I'm talking about customs and things like that.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. The Moors. Our story has always been there. It has always been available for you.
But I don't think it's easy enough.
If you choose to live under this program that they have set for you, then okay, that's on you. But the truth is there.
But I'm looking at it like this, okay? All white people are not the same. You have Italians, you have Germans, you have Icelandic people, and these are nations, ethnicities, cultures, things that these people have shared and recognized, okay, as this is who we are and what we do for thousands of years. That's what I'm saying. And if you're a German American today in America, you can point back to Germany. Sometimes some people still have these connections in their family and they say, yes, my great-great-grandmother came over from Germany. These are her recipes that we're still making. These are the things and the customs that we still do. That's what I'm saying. So regardless of whether, my great-great-great-grandmother consciously made the decision to not connect back to her African roots, the decision was made and a whole new culture was created. And that's who we are today, is that new culture of African Americans who are ex-slaves, victims of Jim Crow, victims of discrimination. Whatever you want to call it, that is who we are. You can call it loss.
Nah, that ain't who we are. That's loss. That's not being in touch. That's not digging deep enough. That's accepting what they have given and taught you in your lifetime. That's accepting that. That's not digging far enough to find out who you really are and where you really come from and what steps you need to take.
But I don't think that you can discredit the things that we've gone through over the last 150 years and just say, no, fuck all of that, skip over that and go back to Africa. I don't think that's applicable to what we're doing.
So, what I'm saying is, if you just go back to slavery and say, well, this is where it started from us, then you were slave. But if you dig a little bit further and go back to Africa, where you was a king and queens, then you are a king. You have to make that decision on which one you want to be. I come from slavery, or I come from kings. You feel me? That's the difference. That's what I'm trying to say.
I mean, I think
you taking it back. I
think we're talking about two different things. You're talking about more of an ideological, how do I view myself? Where does my original DNA come from? What am I capable of? That's what you're talking about, okay? I'm talking about actual customs, actual things that we do. how we dress, the way we talk.
We dress and we talk the way we talk because we are programmed to talk and dress the way we talk. You feel me? Do you know any African dialect?
No.
Because you're a slave. You haven't dug deep enough. You haven't dug deep enough. You laughing at it, but I'm serious. That's because you haven't dug deep enough to know any African dialect. You haven't wanted to know any African dialect. You feel me? But if you wanted to know some African dialect, you would have dug deeper. You would have dug deeper, and that's what I'm saying.
Ty, if you go over to Africa, okay, and you go over and you trace through your blood, the tribe that you belong to, and you go over there, they are not going to fuck with you.
You know
because
why?
You are
you know
different.
Why? You know why?
Because you're
because
different.
I have accepted American ways. You feel me?
But you're going over there telling them
not true. Not true. I can make a phone call right now to my cousin that come from the same place that we come from. Mm-hmm. He's visited Africa several different times. Different times, and will tell you a totally different story. He'll tell you what I'm saying.
I'm sure.
And look, when me and him had these conversations, I take your road. You feel me? I'm you in our conversation.
This isn't a role, though. I'm not playing a part for the sake of
I didn't say
having
role.
a conversation.
I said role. I'm going down. I go down your road with. I'm not from Africa. If you want to deal with that African shit, then you go live in Africa. If you don't like what's going on here in America, then go live in Africa. That's the road that I take with him. But in all actuality, he done dug a little deeper than I have.
Okay, but what I'm saying, Ty, is those African customs and those things don't do you any good unless.
How would you
listen
know?
Listen to me. They don't do you any good unless you're going to go back to Africa.
How do you know?
But good.
Have you tried any African customs? Who are you to say that when you have not tried any African customs? How do you know how it would benefit you in today's society if you haven't tried any of them? How would you know? You haven't. You're programmed to live a certain way. You're programmed to be American. That's what you're programming. You said it yourself.
I'm not
coming up in the 90s.
I mean, you can say program because the word programmed has a very negative connotation to it, especially how you're using it. Okay, but right. I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud of the struggles and the trials and tribulations that my ancestors have gone through for the last 150 years.
Just 150 years? That's as far as you're going to go back?
But this is who I'm talking about. That is who I more readily identify with.
Because you are programmed to... That's your history.
That's not a bad thing, That's not a bad thing.
Des, what I'm trying to tell you is that's where your history stops, brother.
It doesn't,
years ago. 150 years. We are the original man, but you only going back 150 years. You feel me?
We're talking about different things. I mean,
so you went back to 67?
Because that's relevant to what we are going through right now.
Oh, the past 150 years are relevant. So all our pain and suffering is what's relevant right now today. Not when we were kings and queens. That's not relevant. That didn't mean shit. Because I swear that's what you got Lifestyle Studios for. That's your plan for that little one you got in your hand. You want her to be a king or queen, not a slave. So why would you only go back to when we were slaves? Why wouldn't you go back to our good times when we were kings and queens? You stopping. You like 150 years. You stopping. You stopping at our worst time in history. Our worst time ever. That's where your beginning is.
I am talking about cultures right now, and
what am I talking about, Des?
You're talking about like something broader. Like I'm talking about very specific things. Okay. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about like it's very specific what I'm talking about. Like I have a connection. I understand because I am dark skinned that I have a connection to the continent of Africa and the people and the lifestyles that they had.
Is that why you have that connection there? It's because you're dark skinned?
I understand that. Why? What else do you have?
It's because that's who you are, Des. That's who you are. You would say your people came from Ohio. Your people came from Arkansas. Your people came from Mississippi.
Because those are the people who I know. Those are the people who I can, without a doubt. These are the people who without a doubt.
Do you know anybody that was involved in slavery, Des?
No, I'm talking about my great grandmother. Okay.
They were here. They told you stories about slavery.
And who were they're passed down through my family. Like my aunt has done, and if you want me to call her and you can talk to her, she's done a very extensive history
of the family.
She gonna tell you not to stop 150 years ago.
But it's not as simple as like you're making it. You know what I'm saying? Like you're trying to make it seem like I'm discounting hundreds and millions of years. I'm talking about something very specific. Like if you walk into a room, okay, full of 20-something-year-old African Americans, okay,
they're lost.
Black people in America. I mean, you can say that if you want to, but like that's not productive. For the things that they are going through right now,
they're gonna be able to tell me. They're gonna be able to tell me. They're gonna be able to tell me about gay shit. They ain't gonna be able to tell me about no civil rights.
Oh my God! See, you just trivialize the whole conversation.
A 20-year-old is not gonna know about Rosa Parks.
You're telling me that 20-year-olds don't know anything about Rosa Parks?
Des, a 20-year-old cannot tell me the story about Rosa Parks.
How can you say that?
Des, if we
how can you say that?
If we need to go do a on the street segment and go line up a bunch of black folks 20 years and under, they're not gonna know. They're not gonna be able to tell you. They're gonna be like, Rosa Parks, ain't that got something to do with a bus?
And even if they can,
you just said it yourself when you talked about Muhammad Ali. You only know of Muhammad Ali to a certain extent at your age. So what the hell do you think a 20-year-old, somebody that was born in goddamn 96, know about Rosa Parks?
I mean,
what the hell do she even know?
What do you know about Rosa Parks?
What?
What do you know about Rosa Parks?
We got to go through a history of Rosa Parks?
Go give me a summary of Rosa Parks.
She was the originator of the civil rights movement, not Martin Luther King. It was not Martin Luther King. He was the face of it.
You're going to put it on one person? One person?
If it wasn't for her saying, look, I'm not fit to give this seat up. I'm tired. My feet hurt. We would never have. There wouldn't even Martin Luther King wouldn't be who he is.
I don't see how this is the point that you're making right now.
I'm gonna tell you. This is what my point is. The people, us as black people today, are lost because we have been programmed over our lifetime to only understand American values because we're Americans. We don't dig deep enough. In other words, what the white man say, if you want to hide something from the nigga, put it in a book. We don't dig deep enough to know who we are as people to be able to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to support this black man because I understand the struggle. I understand what he done been through. We so programmed, we going to go with...
But you kind of went into something different there. You kind of went into something different. You did.
No, I didn't. This is the same conversation. You could take it and spin it whatever way you want. But this is the same conversation. It's about black folks. We talking about black. Are we talking about black people? Talking about black people and their culture, right?
But what do you mean by a black person?
A black person, a person of color, a person of a nigga.
Now, I just said 2 seconds ago.
Okay, are Mexicans black? Are white people black? So what the fuck do you mean? What do I mean when I say black people? I didn't say nigga. I didn't say nigga. I'm talking. I'm talking me and you.
Conversations are so nuanced and specific.
To you,
it's not just
to you.
Everybody doesn't think the way that you think. So when you have a conversation,
it's not just me. It's not just me. We're not talking about just me or just you. We talking generations. My generation and the generation before me. We look. I'm not. But I'm gonna say this: the generation before me looked down on our generation. Our generation looked down on y'all generation. So if that's the case, guess what? That means y'all got 2 generations looking down on y'all. Cause you couldn't feel the pain from my parents. You couldn't have dealt with the shit that your parent went through. You couldn't have lived in the time that your mom and dad went through. You couldn't have lived in the time where you couldn't have went to the water faucet in the front. You couldn't have lived. You couldn't have dealt with that shit, Dad.
I mean, you have no idea what I could have been capable of.
Oh my God.
Because
you was too fucking smart. You was too fucking smart to have to hide your smartnism. You was too smart for that.
Hiding it. Everything that I'm saying
right now. What I'm trying to tell you is, at a time in our history, in the past 150 years, nigga, you had to hide your smartnism, or they would have whacked your ass, Des. They would have killed you for being as smart as you is, Des.
See, like what you're doing right now is not productive. To me, understanding what you're trying to say, because you're just yelling about a whole bunch of different shit right now, Ty.
You not listening, Des. You only going back to a certain point.
But
and I'm telling
so
you to
talk
go
about
back to that
for a second.
point.
Like, stay on that. Like, you start talking about that, then you start talking about Rosa Parks, which just so happens to be in the last 150 years.
That you don't know about. You don't know about.
But you're trying to tell me But you're trying to tell me to
If
focus
you-
on.
if-
You're trying to tell me to focus on longer than that ago.
So I'm saying,
and you,
no,
at the same
Dez,
time, you're
Dez,
telling me that
Dez,
I don't even know
Dez,
about 20 years
Dez.
ago.
Exactly. So if you don't know about 20 years ago, how the fuck am I expect you to know about kings and queens thousands of years ago when the pyramids and shit was being built? How the fuck am I supposed to expect you to know about that?
I'm saying.
You don't. You don't give a
That's
fuck
what
about
I'm
that.
saying.
You give a fuck. The community, the generation now gives a fuck about now and today and what's going on tomorrow. They don't give a fuck about what we've been through or where we come from. That don't matter to them. And that's basically what you just told me. I don't care about when we was in Africa or how we got here. I'm going to start at slavery and move forward. We've came from slavery. We've came from picking cotton and getting our ass whooped to be able to own Lifestyle Studios and since 1974 radio. That's what you're saying. Am I right?
I mean, you can't just like summarize the whole conversation and put it in a point that's scripted to you trying to make it seem a certain way and make me agree to say that's what I'm saying. I'm never gonna say that's what I'm saying because it's not.
Okay,
what I'm saying.
Say what you're saying, Des. I'm gonna shut up and I'm gonna listen to you.
Okay, what I'm saying is where you made a good point in the actual conversation that we were having was when you said, how do you know that it would not benefit you today in America to take up African cultures and customs? Because that's what I'm talking about. Even though somehow the conversation got to be on a whole bunch of other stuff, that's what I'm talking about. And I didn't have an answer for that. I can't really and the answer for that is kind of like what you're saying, because I only view things through like an American periscope, because that's what I've been given. If you want to use the term programmed, and if that's how you want to use it, okay. But that's where we are. That is where we are. You know what I mean? Like, I cannot put myself in a time machine and take myself back 50 years,
Yes, you
100
can, Des.
years. No, I can't.
Yes, you can.
No,
it's called
I
a book,
can't.
Des.
No, I can't. That's
called
not
a book,
the same
Des.
thing. Because you know what? A book changes my mind, okay? A book changes my mind. A book does not change everybody else's mind around me, okay?
Each one teach one, Des. You got to tell me what you learned. And I got to tell you what I learned. Each one teach one, Des. So what you mean a book don't change the shit around you, Des?
A book does not change everyone's mind around me, okay? So, like, what you're trying to tell me right now, like, you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. Like, dude, I know about African history. I'm sure there are people who know less about me. I'm sure there's people who know more about me, just like anything else. But to act like I'm totally dismissive of the fact that I am descended from people who were formerly kings and queens and
Des,
things of
I'm
that
not
nature.
acting like that. I'm going off what you said. You said 150 years.
Because in my opinion, okay, the African American, okay, the black person that has lived in America as a free man for the last 150 years, since 1865, when we were declared to no longer be property, but to be free people.
What have you
And
accomplished?
listen to me, and those people that chose to stay here in this country and to be Americans and to have little children who became African Americans, and for them to have children that became African Americans, generations and generations on, that's what we are. And that's what we have to look back at and learn lessons from and relate to more relevantly than what happened 200, 300, 400, 500 years ago, because the story gets blurry after that. The story of what happened before we came over here is very blurry. But after we got here, it's very clear. In the current situation that we are in today is very clear.
I'm just listening.
What am I saying? What am I saying that
We
you
done ran
disagree with?
overtime, and
What am I
I'm
saying
just
that you
listening.
disagree with?
You keep saying like everything before 150 years ago don't matter.
I did, but you're telling me that I'm not listening to you, but you're obviously not listening to me because I didn't say that. But but look here, if that's what you took away from what I said, then there's no reason for me to still be talking.
You said
if that's what you took away from what I said, then we don't even have to talk about it no more because that's definitely not what I said.
Okay, wait a minute. What did you say again? I just wanted to be clear on what you just said.
One more time, okay? The people
in 20 words or less.
Culturally, black Americans, that's 3, can relate more to what has happened in the last 150 years than what happened 500 years ago.
Okay, Des. Now you said that in under 20 words. What you just said was the generation of today. We identify.
I'm not just talking about younger people than me, myself. Like I'm trying to make this clear. I'm talking about everybody, all African Americans, people, black people who were born in America.
If I can't generalize, then you can't generalize neither, because all of us don't think like that. Some of us, Des, have dug a little deeper.
But
it's more than 150 years.
Okay, Ty, answer me this question, okay? Answer me this question. All I want you to do is answer me this question. This is all I want you to do is just answer this next question, okay? In the last week of your life, how many times have you utilized a traditional African custom or cultural aspect?
Des.
Just answer the question.
In the past week, how many times have I utilized an African?
That's something that you researched, that you know is a true traditional African custom that dates back to original Africa pre-slavery.
Not one, Des.
And that's what I'm saying, Ty.
That's what you saying?
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Des,
that's what I'm saying.
Basically, what you're trying to tell me is because I know of traditions from the past, because I don't use them today, that what does that mean?
That they're not as relevant. That's my whole point. And by definition, you just told me that they weren't relevant.
Let me tell you why I don't.
Because they're not relevant.
No, Ty. It's not because they're not relevant. It's because I live in America, not Africa.
And that's what I'm saying, Ty. We don't live in Africa. That's what I'm saying. Don't mean,
listen, Des, what did I tell you? What did I tell you earlier when I said I had this same conversation with my cousin, and I took your road?
But I guess
I took your road.
I guess what you're saying is, yes, we have the option to move to Africa.
Now watch this. Watch this. I guess
that's what you're saying.
You said this past week, right?
Okay, what have you done in the past month, Ty?
Des, I don't vote.
You telling me that's your original African custom? Is that what you're telling me?
I don't vote.
Is that what you're telling me right now?
You see this tree I'm finna roll up? Is
that what you're telling me right now, man? That cannot be what you're trying to tell me right now.
This is an African custom I'm doing right now.
Your hair, is that next?
We're gonna even talk about my dreads.
Is that next?
We're not gonna even talk about that.
Come on, man. You an American, nigga. That's what you is.
I have never said I was African.
No, but that's what this whole conversation is about.
Okay.
That's where you got me
wrong at, Des. That's where you got me wrong at, because what I'm saying is you're supposed to know. You're supposed to know. And that helps make you listen, this whole conversation came about supporting black people. You're not gonna support black people if you don't know. If you don't understand and you don't know, you're not going to support black folks. So if you want motherfuckers to come support Des at Lifestyle Studios, then they have to know about Des. You feel me? That's why you get the white people coming in and they walk in your store and walk past your store and see what you got and be like, nah, because they don't know. They don't know. What's the Lifestyle Studio, Des? What's the purpose of that? What is the meaning of that? What is the theme of the Lifestyle Studios, Des?
I don't know how
it's very. I mean, don't worry about what it got to do with the conversation.
Just answer the question.
What is it? What is it?
It's a place for me to.
So it ain't for the people. Because if it's a place for you, then it's not for the people.
Man, let me finish, man. It is a place for me to connect with people to provide them with a service that they might need, and to also display my personal taste in the things that make me who I am, which very so happen to be very Afrocentric.
It's like that's what I was going to say. Is Lifestyle Studios catered to the white folks?
If you look in there and you look and see who's on the walls, and you will see 80%, 85% black people. You will see a picture of Africa. You will see a picture of Egyptians.
White people you done walked in their house and seen pictures of Africa hanging on their wall.
Some people do. You know, some white people, they have African art fetishes. Yeah, I don't know if you ever took an African American class.
That's the reason why I'm telling you what I'm telling you, man. We have to support our own, bro. And only those that know are going to support you, bro. You feel me? Only those that know about the motherfuckers that you got hanging on your walls gonna come in there and be like, hey.
But but at the same time, I can't act like, like white people don't support me. You know what I'm saying? Like, because
they support you on some general shit, Des. When you got some calf shit jumping off, how many motherfuckers came in there and bought that 40 acres? How many motherfuckers came in there and bought that 40 acres?
Not one. But I will tell you though, that one of my biggest supporters is a white woman who is a business owner. So that level that she connects with me. So like I was saying before, it's not always let's connect with this person because they're black. Let me put a disclaimer
out here real quick, Des. Hey, white people, just because we having this station about ourselves, that do not mean I don't love y'all and respect y'all and appreciate y'all.
You better tell them.
Like I said, I've sold over 100 That Dude shirts, and that was more than what I expected to sell all year.
Tell them, man.
And I know for a fact that it's only maybe 5 black folks that have bought a That Dude shirt. You feel me? So I know who my supporters are, and I know that they're not us.
You better tell them you love them, man. Before I get out of here, man, got a couple more shout outs. I gotta give
that dude, get your shirt now.
Shout out to Gucci Man. He's home. I gotta give a big ass shout out to Roy Wood Jr., comedian Roy Wood Jr., who I met over the weekend. He showed me a lot of love, hooked him up with some teas. He's going to be getting back on some things. He's on the Daily Show. Check him out, RoyWoodJr.com. Also, big shout out to Ramon Rivas II, Lorraine's own, representing Cleveland. He did his first half-hour special on the Comedy Central. I'm not quite sure when it's going to be airing, but he filmed that about a week ago in New Orleans. He's been out on the West Coast in California doing some shows, so big things on the horizon for him. Shout out to the Hispanic Hurricane, Wilkin Santiago, who just had a fight over the weekend. It was a draw. But, he's coming back from a broken jaw that was just a couple months ago.
My man say he's fighting in July again.
I think he's fighting. Yeah, July next month. Yeah, and then he said he's fighting. Actually, he's fighting August 27th. I think is his next fight. And then he said he's gonna be fighting every other month in Pennsylvania. So we'll see what's going on with him. And then 2 more shout outs. I gotta give a shout out to the 100-meter state champion in the state of Ohio for high school athletics. He is Lorraine's own Mr. Zion Cross, who won with a time of 10.86. His regional time was like 1.6 off of the state record. He is a sophomore, so he will have 2 more years to win more state titles and bring him back home to Lorraine. And I think this is a kid that we could be seeing in the Olympics sometime in the future. So my last shout out is to the United States of America for giving the people what they truly wanted, and that is the Tubmans. If you have not heard, my favorite black person who came from the last 150 years of African American history.
They happy with that shit.
I love me some Harriet Tubman, man, because I cannot change what has happened. I embrace this shit, and I embrace the trials and tribulations that we have experienced and who it has made us today. And I know that the future holds so much brighter for us as African American people. And you know what? Next week, Ty is going to have his own African culture section where he is going to share with you his African custom of the week.
that you can all embrace and use
Fuck
in
what
your
they're
life.
talking about. I'm gonna share this shit with y'all right now. We ain't gonna have no special segment next week. I'm gonna share with y'all right now.
Get some cocoa
Go
butter.
pick up a motherfucking book. Read. Just that simple. If you want to know, read. It's in the book.
Go get you some cocoa butter, a blunt, and have somebody twist your hair up, and you could be African just like Ty.
I'm not African. Let me let that laugh get off the mic. I'm not African. I'm from Flint. I'm far from African. But I know what my heritage is. I know who I come from and where I come from.
That's what's up,
and
man.
there ain't no goddamn slavery.
Man, I hope that you guys have listened to this,
I got
man.
some shout-outs
Listen to
too,
your
man.
opinions.
Hold
Okay,
on.
go ahead.
Man, my grandfather passed away.
Ooh,
93,
R.I.P.,
94 years old. Shouts out to Grandpa. I love you, Grandpa. Shouts out to all my grandparents that's now gone. I'm a grandparentless child. Shouts out to Kimbo Slice, man.
Oh,
you
yeah,
mentioned Muhammad
Kimbo,
Ali.
man.
Kimbo
Kimbo.
Slice passed away, man. Shouts out to everybody that's going through something in Orlando. Shouts out to D-Ruck and CD Dre for getting an award from Robert Moore. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
For being active in the community. Shouts out to Desmond. Goddamn Carter over there.
Woo!
Lifestyle Studio. Shouts out to Kay and shouts out to Tamika's house, man. For real. That's who I want to get. My mama. That's my shouts out to.
What's your mom's name?
Phyllis.
Shout out to Phyllis, man, and
Phyllis
shout out.
house.
Hey, nigga, man, I can't believe that I gotta do this. I'm gonna give you a minute to think about who you should have just shouted out, cause I didn't hear you shout him out.
It's a him?
It's a him.
Damn, Des, who I forget.
Didn't something just pass here in the past couple of days?
Something just passed.
Something just happened. It was a day.
Donald Trump?
No, somebody had a day in the last couple of days.
Oh, today. Happy motherfucking birthday to my youngest son, Taekwon, goddamn Eric Lavelle House. Happy 15th birthday to you, my dude.
That's what's up, man. Happy birthday, Taekwon, man. I hope you get
Fat
that
Daddy
pack.
in the building.
Get that dough from your dad. Flip that pack. Make it
You
happen.
better shut up. You don't flip no damn pack.
Hey, man, this has been a pleasure to be back with y'all. Kenny says, keep it real. Shout out. She said, don't be hating on the white people. And we got a lot of love for everybody. Since 1974radio.com, I am the DJ. It's been a pleasure being back with y'all. I promise it won't be another 8 weeks before you hear my
It
voice.
sure won't, because I'm putting this nigga back on the air like Friday.
I got a wedding on
Make
Friday.
this nigga do Thursday. We're going to do 2 shows.
Yeah,
this
we
week.
might have to.
Fuck with
We got to do this, man. We out. Peace.